By State Farm. Today's State Farm agent of the game is Gil Walton of the Bronx. Contact Gil at gilwalton.net. And by Long Island Railroad's Train to the Game, you're a ticket to the Mets. Get to Citi Field Saturday, May 30th, when the Mets take on the Marlins at 4:10. The first 15,000 fans will receive a Mets beach towel courtesy of Pepsi. For tickets, visit Mets.com/beach towel. Tonight's Twisted But True Fact brought to you by Twisted Tea, the hard iced tea that tastes like real iced tea. This is the 15th season PNC Park has been open. Over that time, the Pirates have the worst home winning percentage in the National League. Of course, for 13 of those years, they had losing records overall, so it's not particularly surprising. Time to vote for your Mets All-Stars. You can vote 35 times on the 2015 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot at Mets.com. Voting is exclusively online and available on your computer, tablet, and smartphone. Vote at Mets.com now. Mets in Pittsburgh. Their only visit of the year. Noah Syndergaard. First pitch coming up. Back in the leadoff spot after getting the day off yesterday. Eric Campbell hitting number 2. Pitcher hitting 9th. First time in 3 starts that Syndergaard has not batted 8th. And the Pirates' young ace, Garrett Cole, takes the mound.
Well, Garrett Cole, 24-year-old Southern Californian, went to UCLA, #1 draft pick for the Pirates in 2011. His rookie season in 2013, won 10 ball games. Last year won 11 on a season where he was twice on the 15-day disabled list. He's had 2 starts against the Mets, and his last one, of course, was last year. His first start was right here coming off the DL, one of his DL trips, and he got roughed up pretty badly that game. Went 4 innings, gave up 5 runs.
See that whip of 1.15? That's the lowest of his career so far.
And we'll take a look at the Bucco Coors Light defense. It's a pretty McCutchen in right field and Josh Harrison in center. McCutchen, of course, a Gold Glover, and the big guy from Korea out in left, really a shortstop, and Alvarez at short. Marte at first. That's all
right.
messed
That's
up.
all wrong.
That's all messed up.
All completely wrong.
That, you know what? I should have went with my instincts.
Oh.
All right. Well, here we go, folks. We'll try it again.
That was just awful.
I'm going, that guy can't. I said, Gong can't be in left field. He's a shortstop.
We must have a holiday crew working. There's Marte in left.
There's Marte in left. McCutchen in center, the Gold Glover. That's Polanco out in right field. These guys all got pretty good arms and accurate arms. They're very athletic outfield. One of the best in the National League. So we apologize for that, folks. And I should have took charge.
Do we get
I'm getting a little more demure in my old age.
Do we get to show the infield too, where they're actually playing? Curtis Granderson was just 2 for 14 in the St. Louis series. They shift against him, and the first pitch from Cole is on the corner, and we're underway.
There we go. There's the third baseman, Josh Harrison. There's Gong, the Korean. There's a good fielder right there, and of course Pedro Alvarez, who's moved over to first base from third.
Okay, now we've got it all covered.
I was beginning to think, check what the water that Clint Hurdle's drinking over there with that lineup out there where he played his team.
Chris Stewart doing the catching for Garrett Cole.
Oh.
And a check swing foul. Felt like Clarence the cross-eyed lion.
I go, this doesn't make sense. You can't play Alvarez at shortstop. He can hardly play first base.
Eric Campbell on deck. Then Lucas Duda for the Mets. There's Clint Hurdle. Been to the postseason the last 2 years with these Pirates as Granderson fouls one off.
All right, to the game. As you can see already, if you haven't been paying attention to us chuckling up here, is that Garrett Cole's a very hard thrower, a power pitcher.
24 years old. He was a teammate of Eric Goodell's at UCLA and the #1 overall pick in the draft 4 years ago. And he strikes out Curtis Granderson to start the night.
Nice little down slider on the outside corner. Curtis of late, you can see the down tilt on the back door. Curtis has been having a little bit of difficulty of late. There you look at Cole's bio there, and Curtis has been having a little bit of trouble, Gary, with that pitch on the outside corner, belt high and up.
Now Eric Campbell, who's been struggling, 0 for his last 13, and he takes a fastball off the plate. Campbell got off to a very quick start after he came back from Vegas when Dilson Herrera got hurt. 22nd game he started this year.
And it does look like David Wright is still a ways away.
Well, the good news is that both David and Travis d'Arnaud took batting practice down in St. Lucie for the first time today, and the hope is that they'll be able to play in rehab games by sometime next week. 1-2 to Campbell, but it's hard to put a return date, especially when David's coming back from that back problem.
I know. So you got to wonder, when he played with that fractured back, which was really unusual. You got to wonder if he's going to have difficulties down the road with that, not only in his baseball life, in his real life.
And Campbell is drilled, and the Mets have a 1-out base runner. Did they get him on the hand?
Got him where you don't want to get hit. Let's see. It certainly did.
That's right about where Travis d'Arnaud got hit. That landed him on the disabled list, breaking that pinky. Well, here's yesterday.
Off of 2 left-handers. Lucas. All first pitches. All very. This one was impressive to me. Off a very tough left-hander and Randy Schote. And Lucas, hitting was it 429 off left, or 409 this season off of lefties. 409 with 4 home runs, 18 for 44.
Well, with his recent performance now, Duda has climbed into the top 10 in the National League in on-base percentage. He's 8th with that .397 mark. His slugging percentage creeping toward .500. So he has been the most reliable bat in the Mets batting order since the start of the season. Campbell at first and 1 out, and Cole comes to the inside corner for a strike, and it's 0-2.
And it's been a start for Lucas, and I think that David Wright not being in the lineup And the fact also, you compound it with the fact this is a guy that hit 30 home runs last year. Pitchers are going to pitch him differently, a little more care, a little more caution.
There goes Campbell. Duda strikes out, and Campbell's tagged out. Strike him out, throw him out, double play. Side retired. And the third baseman Harrison covering at second, so it's 2-5 on the caught stealing. Cole strikes out Duda. Campbell gunned down.
Nice tag. Nice tag.
Noah Syndergaard takes them out for the Mets when we come back to Pittsburgh. Well, he has pitched like the greatest warrior of Asgard, nicknamed Thor. Noah Syndergaard to face the Pirates. Third big league start. Josh Harrison leads off and takes wide for ball one. Monday's starting lineup for the Pirates: Andrew McCutchen, Starling Marte, the 3 and 4 hitters. Marte has been hot in that cleanup spot. Harrison takes outside. Harrison got off to a dreadful start this year after signing a contract, a 4-year deal in spring training, but he has really picked it up of late, hitting .514 over the last 8 games, trying to make up for lost ground, up to .255 for the year.
An 8-game hitting streak at that. So on fire. And there's Noah, coming off a scintillating start against the Brew Crew.
22 years old, from Mansfield, Texas. And Harrison can't catch up with that fastball. 2-2. Neil Walker on deck, then Andrew McCutchen for the Pirates against Syndergaard, who made his debut at Wrigley Field, pitched 5 scoreless innings and then faltered in the 6th. And then Sunday against Milwaukee, 6 innings, 1 run, 3 hits. Harrison chases out of the strike zone, and Syndergaard has a strikeout to start his night.
All right. There it is. Your Lexus Metsy defense. And because that looks good to me. All right,
in the right place.
You got it. Next. What do we got? That's it. Excellent, guys in the truck.
They did some proofreading before they put that up, you know.
Yes, and they even got the catcher right.
Even spelled his name right. Syndergaard and Plawecki. I think they got them both. Here's Neil Walker with 1 out, and he takes a fastball for a strike. Walker, the Pittsburgh native, now in his 7th year with the Pirates. The Pirates have first-round draft picks scattered throughout their lineup. Their first-round draft picks. Walker in 04, McCutchen in 05, Pedro Alvarez in 08, Garrett Cole in 2011. All Pirate first-round draft picks, all in the lineup tonight.
Walker, a lifetime .273 hitter for the Buccos, came up in 09.
23 home runs last year, a career high, just 2 through the first quarter of the season this year.
Begins his 6th full season as a Pirate.
1-1 from Syndergaard. And the fastball on the inside edge, 1-2.
What was this all about?
Sunglasses for a night game.
That's right. If you look at the shadows, Juan's out there in a little bit of the light that's left.
Well, we're in the western part of the Eastern time zone. It gets dark a little later here than it does in New York. So there's still some sunlight on the field. And the curveball strikes out Walker. Back-to-back strikeouts for Syndergaard to start the night.
Well, this was in his first start here, I mentioned, against the Cubs, that he did not use that slider against the left-handers. It was predominantly a fastball changeup pitcher. And I felt he had to throw the slider to the left-handers, and he just does it right there beautifully for a strikeout.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Andrew McCutchen. And for the guy who was the MVP in the National League 2 years ago and has been top 3 in the MVP voting 3 years in a row, it's been a rough start to his season. He's got a left knee that has been giving him trouble, and it's been reflected in his performance. Just .238 to start the year.
I like his glove again. I'll mention that. I like that color combination. Yeah, and that looks more like a curveball than a slider. It got a lot of down tilt. Watch, he hardly moves his glove in his windup. Oh, where's that pitch?
Marty Foster, the home plate umpire.
We've got the camera angle a little further to the shortstop side of center field than normal, it looks like. So it's an optical illusion on the corners.
Maybe.
My perception.
That's a strike at 98 from Syndergaard. It's 2-2.
Well, we'll talk about, maybe we can get him to move the camera tomorrow. It looks great. It looks great.
To where, the batter's eye?
No, it's
2-2 to McCutchen. Struck him out. What a start for Noah Syndergaard. He strikes out the side in the opening inning. 1-2-3 KKK. No score after 1. Cole struck out 2 in the top of the inning. Noah Syndergaard 3 in the bottom. Michael Kadire leads off the second. Kadire had a good day yesterday, 3 for 3 and a walk, trying to build on that, has his average up to 253 for the year. And that's grounded down to third where Josh Harrison grabs it. 1 out. If you're wondering why the shot that we are showing you from center field, looking into home plate, is a little hazy, there's apparently a barbecue station right out there near the camera position, and the haze is from Manny Sanguillen's barbecue. Could you go talk to Manny and tell him to turn down the coals a little bit?
He'd probably flash that big old toothy smile at me and say, no, sorry, Keith.
And hit a pitch off the ground over the fence. Daniel Murphy rifles one into right field, and the Mets have the first hit of this game.
Well, Murph swung the bat very well yesterday, I felt. 2 hits. Could be on the march, on the rise. Kadire and Murph off to uncharacteristically slow starts. I got it right this time.
So 1 out and 1 on. Now Wilmer Flores, who went just 3 for 17 in the Cardinals series, still leads the Mets in home runs with 6, but Duda's gaining on him.
Been having a little bit of trouble upstairs. Likes the ball down. What's he looking for? Oh, there it is.
The ball.
Got a nice number there, huh? Pretty good pitcher. Had that number for around 20 years in St. Louis. He was going to go in his windup.
You're referring, of course, to Bob Gibson.
Yes,
more recently, Pedro Martinez wore that number with distinction.
But
it's a good pitcher's number.
Pedro never wore it in St. Louis.
No. But in Montreal and Boston, and as a Met.
Did make that distinction.
I see. 1-1 to Flores. Hits it in the air, well to center. McCutchen ranging back into the sunshine to make the catch on the warning track. Flores hit that ball well, 390 some feet. And McCutchen happy to have had his sunglasses. Today's game changer brought to you by T-Mobile. Well, we just saw the Cardinals. Mets and Cardinals have the top 2 ERAs in the league for their starters, and the Pirates are third.
As you said, Gary, in the open, the 2 very similar teams here, the Mets and the Pirates. Mirror images of themselves, but the Pirates are 8.5 back and under 500.
There's Juan Lagares sitting 7th in the order. Well, as far as the stats are concerned, that's certainly true. The one thing the Pirates have offensively that the Mets don't, they've got team speed. The Mets have virtually no team speed other than Lagares. And the Pirates use that speed to their advantage, particularly in the outfield, where Marte, McCutchen, and Polanco cover tons of ground.
25 stolen bases as a team, the Pirates. And that's 5th in the National League. The Reds lead, of course, with Billy Hamilton at 43 on top of the heap.
It's amazing how many bases Hamilton's stolen, considering he rarely gets on base. We call strike to Lagares 1-1. So badly that Brian Price dropped him to 8th in the batting order.
He's carrying that banjo around. All the old hitters, the banjo hitter.
Lagares had an interesting day at the plate yesterday. Hit leadoff and drew 2 walks, which never happens. Murphy runs. The throw by Stewart is on the money, and another Met is excised on the bases. So the Mets bound and determined to run early in this game, and Stewart has thrown out a pair. First Campbell and now Murphy. No score in Pittsburgh. Daniel Murphy trying to steal, thrown out to end that top of the second.
Second caught stealing, and it's all about the catcher Chris Stewart. And watch his footwork, folks. No wasted motion, and both throws accurate right on the dime.
Starling Marte leads off the home second against Syndergaard and fouls off the curveball. Now, we talked about the Pirates stealing 25 bases this year. Pretty good. They've given up 41 stolen bases because their pitchers are not particularly good at holding runners. But Stewart has done a much better job of throwing people out than Francisco Cervelli, their #1 catcher.
Well, they are certainly missing Russell Martin on this ball club. Russell Martin, of course, left, went to Toronto. Had two seasons here?
2 seasons.
2 wonderful seasons here.
There's Jung-Ho Kang on deck. Syndergaard has struck out the first 3 batters tonight. He's ahead on Marte 0-2. And he goes around on the half swing, strike 3. So 4 straight strikeouts for Syndergaard. He's halfway to DeGrom.
Well, fairly impressive. I don't think he swung, but doesn't matter.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Jung-Ho Kang, the 28-year-old South Korean, first player ever to go from the Korean baseball organization to the major leagues. There have been other Koreans in the majors, but they've all come as first-time professionals and had not played in the Korean League, where Kang had a tremendous season last year.
A lifetime .298 hitter in Korea. Last year was his best season. He had .356 in 117 ball games with 40 home runs and 117 RBIs.
Now, how that translates at the big league level, nobody really knew. But the Pirates gave him a 4-year, $11 million deal to find out. And when he got here, a lot of people thought he might be a utility infielder. They weren't quite sure what his role would be. But Jordy Mercer has struggled so much at shortstop that Kang has basically taken that job away. And he's hitting .313. Bounce foul. 2-2.
Bit of a leg kick.
Now they say he's been using his leg kick until he gets to 2 strikes, and then he's been being more conventional with less of a leg kick.
Well, I think probably more compact with 2 strikes. He's been hot in his last 20 ball games. Been swinging the bat well.
Two from Syndergaard. Bounce to first. First fair ball hit by a Pirate. 3-1 put out for the second out. So 2 out and nobody on. Now Pedro Alvarez, who Tuesday night did something that, well, was kind of unique. He had a home run over the seats and right, over the concourse, and not quite in the river. It landed in a boat. 2 players had hit the water on the fly, Darrell Ward and Garrett Jones, but he was the first to hit one into a watercraft. Alvarez hitting .220 with 7 home runs.
He's a strikeout guy. Got a big swing.
Boys like cold hard facts, and there are the folks who have hit the ball in the river. I'd say Astros next to Alvarez because it didn't go in the river. Cold hard facts brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. I mean, that's like saying somebody hit the ball over the fence, but it got caught. Doesn't count. 1-1 to Alvarez, who was born in the Dominican, grew up in New York, went to Horace Mann High School.
Is that a parallel parking over there, Pierre?
You're not allowed to nose in.
Alvarez last year hit 18 home runs, but the 2 years prior, 12 and 13, he hit 30 and 36.
Well, he was also undone by his defense last year. Just couldn't throw to first base, and they finally had to move him over there. It's a big hack and fouls back 2-2.
The years that he struck out, hit the 30 and 36 home runs, he struck out 180 and 186 times. He's a big strikeout guy, and looks like he is what he is. A Major League total, a .235 hitter with power.
2-2 from Syndergaard, and he just missed with a changeup. 3-2. Alvarez has saved some of his best hitting for the Mets. In fact, his highest average against any National League team is against the Mets. He's at .310 against New York. Probably a message to the folks back home. 3-2. Line down the left field line, and that's a fair ball, and it goes into the stands, a ground rule double. So the first hit for the Pirates, a 2-out double for Alvarez, his 6th double of the year.
Well, something you wouldn't expect from Alvarez, a big swing and pull hitter. Look at that. That is how you get it done with 2 strikes on a pitch away. Just inside the line. Oh boy, a little bit of chalk.
So a runner in scoring position with 2 down. Now Gregory Polanco, the right fielder, who's really been struggling, 0 for his last 19. 23-year-old who came up with much fanfare last year, and for a while was just tearing it up, but then he cooled down and wound up back in the minor leagues. Hit .235 in his rookie season, 7 home runs. Syndergaard pitching out of the stretch for the first time after retiring the first 5. And it's away to Polanco, 2-0.
Very simplistic motion, no glove movement. Just how he look at his hand taking out from the glove, doesn't come down below his belt, and just wings it in there, folks, at a tremendous force. With tremendous force.
Got the second strike with a, actually it's the first strike with a changeup. I think we have the count wrong on the board, no? No, apparently it's right. 1-2. Chris Stewart would be next in the 8th spot in the order. So now Syndergaard ahead 1-2 on Polanco.
What's very interesting about Noah, remember that first game he pitched in Chicago, he did not have anything remotely close to command of his changeup. And he's probably fired up. He sprinkled in his changeups his last start, and he was erratic with it. But early in this game here, and we're only in the 2nd inning, he's throwing a good one and in good spots.
Hit hard, right under Duda, and that'll bring in the first run of the game. Alvarez scores, and it's 1-0 Pittsburgh. Hit hard, but right at Lucas, and he just couldn't make the pickup.
Another changeup. You don't want him to get changeup happy when you throw as hard as Syndergaard does. You sprinkle in the change every now and again. This was the 2nd one in the at bat. Lucas doesn't come up with a backhand at all. Ball was hit fairly hard. 2 outs, runner breaks on contact. And they're going to rule that a hit, Garrett?
They just did.
Very
could have gone either way.
Very generous home book, I guess.
I think I would have called that an error.
Me too.
Here's Chris Stewart, catcher and number 8 hitter. Stewart now 33 years old with his 6th major league team, lifetime .228 hitter. Polanco a base stealer, and he's running. The throw by Plawecki not nearly in time. 12th stolen base of the year for Polanco.
Well, that's the 26th stolen base for the Pirates. As a team, long-legged, big long strides. Well, talking about the changeup, watch his hand stay back. Didn't get it away enough. You can see it let go with one hand. Too many looks at the changeup in that at bat when you throw as hard as Noah does.
First base open, number 8 hitter up, but a good hitting pitcher on deck in Cole, and Syndergaard comes inside. It gets away from Plawecki, and over to third goes Polanco. Plawecki had no idea where that ball was.
You got to wonder, was that a cross up? And he just missed it. That's no cross up.
Yep, right off his thumb.
Plawecki's been having his difficulties behind the plate.
So that'll be a pass ball charged to Plawecki. Moves a runner to third with 2 out. Now you got a 1-1 count to Stewart. Cole on deck. Already has 4 hits this year. So I would think this is the guy you want to go after. And Stewart hits it hard right over the bag. And that'll bring in the second run of the inning. Stewart trying for 2. And Kadyr's throw not in time. An RBI double for Chris Stewart, and it's 2-0 Pittsburgh. So with 2 out and nobody on, 3 straight Pirate hits produce 2 runs.
Fastball in. He just turned on it. Ball meant to be away. And we'll see how Noah reacts to this. Right down the line, nothing Campbell can do. Normally Campbell plays a whole lot deeper at third base. Surprised to see him with 2 outs that close in, although that ball was probably hit too hard for anybody to get at it.
So the narrative changing in a hurry for Noah Syndergaard. He struck out the first 4 batters, retired the first 5, but then Alvarez doubled. Polanco hit one under Duda for a base hit, and now Stewart with an RBI double. Now it's Cole, 4 for 17 at the plate. That's a .235 average.
Good
lifetime
hitting.
196.
A good hitting pitcher. Has an idea. He's an athlete.
Cole with 1 career home run. Stewart at second and 2 out.
He's thrown 98, Gare. Whatever that is in the gun, however you want to compute that, because I've always said 90 and up is good enough, but it's obvious that this kid throws very hard.
Well, if 90 is good, 98 could be better. Line the other way. Murphy with a nice stop.
Wow.
That saved a run, and he throws out Cole for the 3rd out. 4 hard hit balls in a row off Syndergaard, and Noah fortunate that a 3rd run is not home. From Ante Brothers, where they put the French fries inside the sandwich. Audi A3 sedan. Well, Danny Murphy saving Noah Syndergaard another run.
Bullet, one hop. Nice play, Murph. It's always those boom, boom, bang, bang plays that Murph comes up with. I always wondered why, but that's a heck of a play right there, and it saved the run.
So the Mets are down 2-0 as they come to bat in the third against Cole. It was a little late getting out to the mound after making that final out and being robbed of a hit. PNC Park just about full tonight. This is the view that we have where we sit high at the top of PNC Park.
It's a beautiful stadium, beautiful backdrop. As you can see, the Allegheny River, Roberto Clemente Bridge. And the other bridge to the farther left, you see the stadium full of people, is the Andy Warhol Bridge. And they're all identical, the three bridges.
Is the Warhol Bridge lined with soup cans?
No, but it has traffic.
Juan Lagares leads off in the third. He was at the plate when Murphy was caught stealing to end the second. Mets have been caught stealing twice. Very odd in that in their first 42 games this year, they were caught stealing a total of twice. That one skips past Harrison and into left field. And so Lagares is aboard. Well, Harrison, who was a terrific defender at many different positions last year, has had a rough go of it at third base, and this could be yet another error.
That's got to be an error. That's just, wow. Didn't get in front. That is, kids at home, do not do that. Warning. Error, hit.
We're waiting for the score. They just called it an error. He's taking his time. That's the 8th error for Harrison, and the Mets have a leadoff base runner. Kevin Plawecki, the batter. Plawecki hitless in his last 8 at-bats. And takes a fastball from Cole for a strike.
Well, they moved Alvarez over to first base because he made 24 errors at third base, 25 at third base last year. They moved Marte over there, and now Marte's got more errors than he made all last year, I believe. He's got 8. Harrison, excuse me.
That one's into right center, a base hit for Plawecki. Polanco gets over to cut it off. Lagares goes first to third, and the Mets have runners at the corners and nobody out. So the Mets striking right back after Syndergaard gave up a pair in the last half inning.
How are you guys?
Nice hitting by Plawecki. He likes to go over that into that right center field gap.
First we gotta warm it up. That's the big thing.
And Lagares, of course, with his wheels. The galloper. Giddy up.
So first and third and nobody out, and now Noah Syndergaard will take the turn at bat, looking for his first big league hit.
It's got to be bunting here with nobody out. I'm surprised that Harrison's not playing in tighter.
Gives himself up and takes a strike. Well, teams have gotten more and more concerned in this situation about that runner at third base following the third baseman home.
Right, correct. So it's up to the pitcher to cover the third base side of the infield on a bunt.
We saw the Mets give up a run in that fashion the other day against the Cardinals. And that one just misses. A ball and a strike. Syndergaard, a good hitter in the minor leagues. Like he hit one over the center field fence in his last start at Vegas before he got called up. Throw down to third, and back safely is Lagares. Stewart's already got 2 assists tonight. He was trying for a third.
Good eye by Noah.
So 2-1 to Syndergaard. And he gets a bunt down. Lagares is going to stay put at third, and Cole gets the out at first. 1-4 on the sacrifice. Now runners at second and third.
Nice bunt by Syndergaard. Helps himself. Deadens it nicely and down the third base line. And with Harrison holding Lagares at third, not letting him creep down the line, which we saw what the Cardinals did to the Mets in that last series at home.
So now 2 in scoring position for Granderson with 1 out, and Curtis takes a strike. Granderson struck out his first time up. The infield back for the Pirates, so they'll concede a run on a ground ball. Lagares at third, Plawecki at second, and 1 out.
The Pirates have made 28 errors so far this season, and they came into the game with 27. Of course, it was tied for 4th place.
Oh, and that one skips away from Stewart. Here comes Lagares with the Mets' first run. So a wild pitch from Cole, and Lagares able to come home, and now it's 2-1 Pittsburgh, and the tying run is on third.
I don't know how the heck Granderson didn't get out of the way of this one, but he did.
So now with the tying run at third, the Pirates are going to bring their infield most of the way in. 1-1 to Curtis. And he fouls one at the plate on a changeup.
They say one of the problems, talking with Steve Blass, former Pirate pitcher, World Series hero for the Pirates, said that when Cole gets in trouble, he tends to overthrow. And that was a quick example right there. That wild pitch in the dirt.
98 miles an hour for Cole, the hardest pitch he's thrown so far, trying to strike out Granderson and pin that runner at third after he struck out Curtis's first time up. See what Curtis has done with runners in scoring position. Plawecki, the runner at third, take a pretty good fly ball to get him home, and Granderson stays alive. Eric Campbell waiting on deck.
Curtis is always crouched, ready to hit. Hands back.
And he goes down on strikes again.
Tied him up inside, Gary.
Blistering pitch by Cole for his third strikeout.
Whoa, boy, oh boy, did he paint the wagon here.
99 miles an hour on the corner.
That's called paint your wagon.
So now 2 out. It's left to Campbell to try and get that tying run in from third. Campbell was hit by a pitch and then caught stealing to end the first inning. Plawecki at third and 2 out. Infield now back. And he tries to lay off the breaking ball, but he went around. 0-1. Campbell hitting just 143 with runners in scoring position this season. In the air to right, and Polanco right there waiting for it. That retires the side, but the Mets get an unearned run to have the Pirates lead. 2-1 Pittsburgh in the third. It's great yesterday. Yesterday he had, well, he pitched one of the best games we've ever seen. 8 innings, 1 hit, no walks, 11 strikeouts.
Certainly the best performance though so far this season by any Met starter.
Only
that's saying a lot.
Only the 3rd Met pitcher ever to retire 23 batters in a row. Tom Seaver did it twice, and Anthony Young in 1993, the same Anthony Young who set the major league record by losing 27 games in a row.
I remember that.
It's presented by DraftKings. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com. Enter promo code NYM for free entry. Josh Harrison pokes one to Murphy, and Syndergaard has the first out in the home 3rd. What was great about Anthony Young, I don't know, maybe great is not the word for it, but what was interesting about it is that he kind of reveled in that strange celebrity that long losing streak presented him. He went on late night talk shows. He
made the most of it.
Was happy to grant interviews. It was almost like he had a little niche.
No comprende.
Might not want to take him in your fantasy draft. 1 out and nobody on. Here's Neil Walker, who struck out his first time up.
Be like getting caught in a margin call.
But he did have a day when he retired 23 batters in a row. And now so does DeGrom.
He was a football punter, correct? Am I correct?
Who's that?
Anthony Young? Wasn't he a football player?
I know he went from Houston.
I could be wrong.
Oh, you could be right. Hit slowly down to 3rd. Campbell's got it. And there are 2 out. Darren Erstad was a great punter before he switched his allegiance to baseball. Nebraska, right? Erstad?
Yes.
Center fielder, Andrew McCutchen.
If I'm not mistaken, Danny Muno's dad was a punter at Notre Dame.
Really?
They won the national championship with Joe Montana.
And that great Cotton Bowl.
Just trying to make those baseball punter connections. Curveball from Syndergaard into McCutchen for a strike. Syndergaard struck out his first 4 batters, then trouble ensued in the 2nd. Now he's retired the first 2 here in the 3rd. Trailing 2-1. And McCutchen bounces it foul. Andrew McCutchen, 4-time All-Star, 3-time Silver Slugger, MVP 2 years ago. Finished 3rd in the balloting last year when his numbers were virtually the same, but Clayton Kershaw won the MVP with his extraordinary season. Kershaw is not off to an MVP year this year, particularly after Madison Bumgarner took him deep last night.
Took him way deep.
The Giants all of a sudden are creeping up. They're only a game and a half behind the Dodgers. They've beaten them 6 straight times. McCutchen launches one to deep right center. Back in the gap. Lagares onto the warning track makes it look easy to retire the side. 1-2-3 for Syndergaard in the bottom of the 3rd. 2-1 Pirates going to the 4th. Very comfortable now, around 60 degrees. Lucas Duda takes inside from Garrett Cole. Second time he's had his feet moved by Cole early in this game. Lucas struck out his first time up. Duda, Kadire, and Murphy 3, 4, and 5 in the order with the Mets down a run. Cole gave up an unearned run in the third after a leadoff error by Harrison, able to minimize the damage by striking out Granderson with a runner at third and 1 out. Cole has struck out 3, walked none over the first 3 innings. Finds the outside corner, 1-1.
He's got a nice little backdoor slider for the left-hander. Not afraid to throw in.
Well, Keith, yesterday apparently Terry Collins dropped a little praise your way for the work that you did with Lucas Duda.
Yeah, he did, and it was a surprise to me. I worked with Lucas. Lucas called me in spring. Actually sent me a text. We exchanged numbers at the end of last season, and basically he wanted me to come out early and work with him on first base defensively. And of course it wandered off into offense, and I started just asking him questions about his hitting and his likes and his dislikes and at the plate. And then it focused on left-handers because he had such a tough time last year with left-handers. And all I imparted to him was I didn't throw any BP. There was nothing that he didn't take BP in front of me where I watched him and they said to do this, do that. It was basically telling him how I approach left-handers. My 17 years of experience against left-handers, what they like to do, what a lot of them have a trouble doing, and how you got to get to know all your left-handers and categorize them and work it into your approach. So he's done all the work. He's done all the work, and I know he's worked very hard with Kevin Long in the tunnel underneath, and really it was flattering of Terry to say that, but it's just baseball's a lot of lore that's handed down, orally. And I listened to Lou Brock, left-hand hitter, and he helped me hit left-handers, and it's just part of a generational passing down. I guess just your knowledge. And my feeling is, when I played, I talked to Ralph Kiner. I wanted to hear what his thoughts were on hitting, and what little bits and pieces. Not everything may work, but there might be something you can grab from Ralph, and something you can grab from Lou Brock, or even an everyday player you're playing with, a contemporary, that you can incorporate into your game, and it works for you. And the matter is shuffle out the stuff that you don't comprehend or you don't feel comfortable with, and the stuff that you kind of like, you work on it. But it's all his job. He's done a great job.
Harrison waits on that ball and throws out to Dyer. And he took the gamble that second hop would get to him, and it did. He throws out to Dyer for the second.
Nice.
Well, let me ask you about this. It's obviously been an extraordinary difference as you look at that last play by Harrison. An extraordinary difference between the results for Lucas against lefties this year compared to last year. When you watch him against lefties, do you see evidence of the kind of things that you were talking about?
What I see, I always liked with Lucas, is that he stays in on left-handers. He doesn't bail. His issue was, and I asked him, I said, why do you swing at so many bad sliders out of the strike zone? And I'll be brief here. And he said, I can't identify it. And I go, you don't see the circle and the slider? He goes, I do. And I say, well, Lucas, if you don't learn to lay off that pitch, you're going to have a whole lot of trouble. And when you do learn to lay off that pitch, guess what? They're going to throw it to you as long as you swing at it. You're going to be 1-0, 2-0, and you're going to be getting pitches to hit.
Mets are out 1-2-3 in the fourth, still 2-1 Pirates. off against Noah Syndergaard. Yeah, takes a changeup in the dirt. Marte struck out his first time up. Jung-Ho Kang on deck, and then Pedro Alvarez for the Pirates in the fourth against Syndergaard, who gave up 2 runs after 2 were out in the second. Pulled foul, 1-1.
Marte is leading his team in RBIs and home runs. 8 home runs, 27 RBIs, and also in strikeouts. He's a strikeout guy. 42 strikeouts already in this quarter of a season, a little over a quarter.
It's 5th in the National League. And Syndergaard runs it inside, a little two-seamer, 2-1. Well, Marte is not a guy who they've considered a middle-of-the-order guy before, but he had a middle-of-the-order type season last year. And 16 games in the cleanup spot now. He's hitting .355, so they may leave him there. And the curveball dribbled back to Syndergaard. 1 out. So 1 out and nobody on. Jung-Ho Kang coming up, and we check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
Gary, you mentioned it during one of Syndergaard's first 2 starts, but he names his gloves. He's been doing it since 2012 when he decided just putting Syndergaard on the leather was a little too boring. So he's got a few based on his nicknames. Drago and Thor. Also has one named Loki, which is Thor's brother. Outside of that, he goes based on the TV shows he's binge watching. So Rick Grimes based on The Walking Dead, Heisenberg for Breaking Bad, and now he's trying to figure out what his next glove is going to be named because he is obsessed with Game of Thrones in the middle of season 4 right now. He's got it narrowed down to 2, Jon Snow or Dario Naharis. After that, he thinks Mad Men's going to be the way to go. Says expect a Don Draper glove at some point, possibly before the end of the season.
Oh, those ball players are very superstitious.
I thought maybe go with Roger Sterling. It's the 1-1. And it's taken for a strike, 1-2. Well, don't know how things are going to go for Syndergaard tonight, but at least there appears to be one immediate burden off his mind. We figured coming into the night that how he pitched tonight might have some influence on whether he was going to stick around when Dylan G comes off the disabled list, which should happen in the next few days. Well, Terry Collins did not exactly announce it tonight, but he strongly intimated that the Mets are going to keep both of them in their rotation and go with a 6-man rotation for a little while.
Well, I'm sure that Matt Harvey's not going to be happy with that. I mean, Terry's explanations were, if you do the math, we're a quarter of the way through the season, 8 starts, 32 starts in the course of a year. The innings would have been 227 for Harvey, correct, or something around there.
He said if Harvey threw 7 innings every start as he's scheduled to pitch right now, it would be around 230 innings.
And he said that's not going to happen.
It can't happen. Not the year after Tommy John surgery. So they've got to find a way to slow him down. And the other consideration is Bartolo Colon, who obviously has struggled big time lately. He's going to turn 42 on Sunday, and they may need to give him some more rest. So I think all those things factor in. And the Mets have an off day coming up on Thursday next week. Then they play 10 in a row. Then another off day. Then 13 in a row. So there are going to be times, if they have a 6-man rotation for a considerable period of time, when pitchers will be working at times with 2 extra days of rest. And that's what happened to Harvey in Philadelphia, and he felt very uncomfortable with it.
And stated thus, and you know, the fact is that Harvey's been so good, Garrett. I mean, he could be, what, 8-0 right now. He's going deep in games. You can't take him out. He's throwing solid.
Well, and that's obviously a problem. I mean, they've got to manage his innings somehow, and that's not just true of him. It's true of DeGrom. It's true of Syndergaard, all these younger pitchers, even true of Steven Matz down in AAA. They've got to manage all these guys' innings, and even though it's probably uncomfortable for them, the 6-man rotation may be the best way to do that, as long as you have quality guys in all those spots. Alvarez pops one up, and Flores takes charge, gives way then to Campbell, and that retires the side. 7 in a row now set down by Syndergaard. We're through 4 in Pittsburgh with the Mets down 2-1. Coldwell Banker to help support local youth baseball. Earlier this week, nearly 50 SNY and Coldwell Banker employees took part in a volunteer project at Rosedale Little League in Queens to help them get ready for opening day. The volunteers gave the fields a much-needed facelift. For more information, go to sny.tv/playball. Wilmer Flores leading off in the 5th inning. Hit one to the warning track in center field his first time up. Mets have had just 2 hits against Garrett Cole. A single by Murphy in the 2nd, a single by Plawecki in the 3rd. Lagares and Plawecki to follow, and that's on the corner. 1-2 to Flores.
Cole's got a nice command of his slider.
Flores taps one slowly. Harrison using the glove. Low throw. Alvarez digs it out nicely. And Flores retired.
Oh, I tell you what. These Pirate fans have seen enough. That's a hold your collective breath on that one. That was not an easy pick. This is the in-between hop, and that's not an easy one. Nice play by Alvarez. Look at Harrison. He wears his uniform like an old-time ball player, doesn't he? Shows his socks.
Negro League.
He looks like he looks like an old-time ball player with that. Scrappy.
1 out and nobody on. Now Juan Lagares.
Well, the in-between hop, you always work from the bottom up, just like that, from the ground up. Nicely done.
The ball just snow coned in the webbing of that big first baseman's mitt. Lagares takes one the other way, and he's got the Mets' 3rd hit of the night, a 1-out single.
Well, Juan's trying to get back on track, and he's always good going that way. That's what makes him, I think, would make him such a great hit and run guy. He does that so well.
So now Plawecki, who had a base hit to right center his first time up. Well, the Mets have already attempted 2 steals tonight and been caught both times. Campbell in the 1st, Murphy in the 2nd. Lagares is probably the Mets' best base stealer, but he's only attempted 4 all year and made it 3 of 4. I thought that was so odd that the Mets were so aggressive in those first 2 innings. A team that had, been only attempted 17 steals in 42 games. But clearly they look at the numbers and see how vulnerable the Pirates have been to the stolen base and figured, why not?
Well, you also got to take into the fact that you got the better defensive catcher back there, the better throwing catcher in Chris Stewart. And everybody flew in from a day game yesterday. I noticed a lot of the guys had a normal meal, a normal hour, a normal dinner hour, like the rest of you folks out there. They feel a little frisky today. Good night's sleep.
Stopped by Stewart on a pitch in the dirt, 2-1. Here's your JetBlue 5th inning recap. Noah Syndergaard gave up a couple of runs in the 2nd. Garrett Cole gave up an unearned run in the 3rd. Syndergaard struck out his first 4 batters, but none since.
Well, what I like about Syndergaard, what I've seen is this is all new. He gives up the 2 runs. Should have been an error on Duda. 2 earned runs. What did he do after that? 7 in a row.
Yeah, but for that scoring decision, it would have been 2 unearned runs.
Correct.
Instead, they're both earned.
Gave up a base hit after that, and but since then has retired 7 in a row. Those are the things you look at. How a young pitcher collects himself when things don't go right. He doesn't blow up.
Now Cole has his first 3-ball count of the night. And Plawecki hits a double play ball right to Walker. Dong with the turn, 4-6-3 double play, side retired. And just like that, Cole gets himself through it. Halfway through in Pittsburgh. Mets down 2-1. There's Manny. There's that smile Keith was talking about.
Bad ball hitter. It's a great city to come to and watch your Metsies. This is one of the most rejuvenated downtown areas. It's such a lively. Go ahead, Gare.
Sunday at Mets Insider, from those who've made the jump to the majors to those waiting for the call, get an inside look at some of the Mets' top talent in Vegas and the challenges they face being so close yet so far. Mets Insider, presented by W.B. Mason, Sunday at 5, only on SNY. Gregory Polanco takes the big swing.
Are you done?
Well, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but they put the promo up on the screen, and what choice did I have? Maybe they were trying to send you a message. Polanco drove in a run with a base hit his first time up. That's the one that went under Duda. This one in the air to Granderson and right, and that's the first out. 8 in a row retired by Syndergaard. Time for tonight's Verizon trivia question. Well, Keith was co-MVP with Willie Stargell in 1979. Who finished third in the balloting? Only time they've ever been co-MVPs since they started handing it out. Do you know the answer to it?
That would be 79. It'd have to be. I have a hunch.
Chris Stewart, RBI double his last time up, right over the third base bag. That right now is the difference in this game. Stewart began the year on the disabled list with a hamstring, making just his 10th start. And Syndergaard misses with a curveball, 1-1.
I've just been told who it is.
Oh,
I won't.
Now you know.
I remember now. Yes.
Okay.
He had a great year. Unfortunately, Willie and I were just a little bit ahead of him.
Right. And Woolley was a little ahead of you in the standings.
Yes. The guy who finished third was nowhere close, I don't think, that year. As far as a team being in the hunt. One of the great players I ever competed against.
I just guessed and I was wrong. Shallow left, falling fast and in for a base hit. So Chris Stewart, the number 8 hitter, light hitting catcher, is 2 for 2 and has Syndergaard talking to himself.
4th hit for the Pirates. First hit since that second 2-run second. A little flare right here. Hit him where they ain't.
So 1 out and 1 on. Now Cole, we'll see if he's asked to bunt. Hit the ball hard his first time up, and Murphy made a terrific play, and he bunts one in the air, and Duda can't quite get there. Nice effort by Lucas.
Can we run a replay on that? Did you see him go to his mouth of Cole before when the pitch was almost on the way?
He did not.
Watch what he does.
Oh, you're right. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Wow. Maybe he couldn't get a grip, and
I don't know.
It's kind of like when you're thumbing through papers and you can't quite separate them, and you lick your finger. That's what it looked like.
I don't get it.
Well, 2 strikes on Cole. We'll see if he's still asked to bunt. You know he's a good hitter, and you have to figure they're going to turn him loose here, right? Looking down at Rick Sofield, the third base coach.
I still haven't put a bunt down.
Just because you fear the double play?
It's a tight game.
And he lays off, and it's high. I've always thought with 1 out, I'd rather have, if he's a good hitting pitcher, rather have him swing away. Not with nobody out.
Well, I just think it depends on the circumstances. You got 2 quality pitchers out here, even though Syndergaard's still very much untested, but looks like he's got it going on. I'd want to get the runner in scoring position with a 2-out base hit.
And he tries the butcher boy and fouls it off.
Jesse Orosco was very good at the butcher boy. He didn't get up too much. Jesse had a clue.
I think I read yesterday that Jesse one time had hits in 4 straight at bats.
I know he drove me in once in Wrigley Field.
Just missed. 2-2. Of course, in those days, relief pitchers would occasionally get it back because you'd leave them in for 2 1/3.
Yes.
These days, it's almost impossible for a closer to get a turn it back. Well, they've had it on every pitch but one. Cole trying to keep him guessing, and he swings and misses for strike 3. Strikeout number 5 for Syndergaard. That's the second out.
It's a lot to ask of a pitcher that hits once every 5th day. I don't care how athletic he is. To a guy that throws 97, 98 to get a base hit.
So 2 outs. Stewart still at first, and now Josh Harrison, who was struck out and grounded out 0 for 2. Stewart not much in the running department due to holding him on. And Harrison moves back 1-0. Game 2 of this series tomorrow afternoon. Keep note, it's a 4 o'clock start. So we'll be with you at 3:30 tomorrow. Matt Harvey against A.J. Burnett.
Rejuvenated A.J. Burnett.
He loves being in Pittsburgh, doesn't he? Turned down more money to leave Philly and come to Pittsburgh, where he had so much success the year before. And he was just awful in Philly last year.
Yes, he was.
And there are the rest of your city probables. The lefties go Sunday. John Neese trying to bounce back from a dreadful outing against Francisco Liriano, who also got beat up in his last start.
And was I not correct? I mean, the Pirates, we haven't discussed this. We have in the past.
Hit hard. That's through the hole. A base hit for Harrison. Stewart pulls in at second. So Syndergaard's given up a couple of hits here in the 5th, and he'll face Neil Walker with 2 men on.
Pirates were one of the teams that used the big emphatic shifts more than most teams. And A.J. Burnett, the 2 years ago that he was here, really was resistant to it. And it was interesting that he decided to come back.
I think he's more accepting now.
Yep.
It was A.J. who was really hailed as a leader here in Pittsburgh his first time through, which I think surprised a lot of people because he had been a kind of a mercurial figure earlier in his career. Not necessarily the best role model, but he certainly has become that in the latter stages of his career.
Well, you get older, you mellow, don't you? You're supposed to.
You learn too, right? Learn from your mistakes. Try and help younger people from making the same. Here's Walker, who's 0 for 2, struck out, grounded out. And Syndergaard misses 1-0.
The one thing about A.J. Burnett, he's been fairly healthy most of his career. Won 16 games for the Pirates in 12 and 10 2 years ago, 13, but last year 8 and 18 with the Phils.
That one skips away from Plawecki, and both runners will move up. So a wild pitch charge to Syndergaard. There was a pass ball on Plawecki earlier, and now 2 are in scoring position for Walker.
Didn't really get his body with in a concave position here. To smother the ball. He did not do that. It kicks out towards the first base line. First base dugout.
Well, this is now a huge batter for Syndergaard. A base hit could give the Pirates a 3-run lead. 2-0 to Walker. And he picks off the inside corner at 97 miles an hour. Andrew McCutchen would be next. So you're not going to pitch around Walker here. Stewart at third, Harrison at second, and 2 down. And Walker lifts one foul. Well, that's one thing we've seen from Syndergaard in these last 2 starts that we didn't see much in his first in Chicago. He is pitching inside much more.
The game hasn't changed in over 100 years. If you don't keep hitters honest. And I think we got away from it in the steroid era, Gare. And I always hate to bring up that filthy era of baseball. Pitchers were afraid to come in, and now I think they're starting to get back to the program. Plus, you got a lot of guys coming out of college where they use metal bats. Or aluminum bats, excuse me.
Breaking ball blooped on the right side. And Duda has it, and that retires the side. So a big out for Syndergaard. He strands 2 in scoring position. Oh, our second look at Primanti's tonight. We showed the sign. There's the sandwich. That's good eats. Well, throughout this game, you can stay connected with SNY Game Day on SNY.TV. 6th inning, 2-1 Pittsburgh. Noah Syndergaard leads off against Garrett Cole. Still looking for his first big league hit. Sacrificed his first time up, his first major league sacrifice bunt. You know, we were talking last inning about Syndergaard pitching inside more. I think it was especially important to see him pitch inside tonight in the wake of what happened against the Brewers when he hit Carlos Gomez.
Very good point, Gary. And not so much against the left-handers, against the right-handers. Because that the ball that got Carlos Gomez in the head was a fastball, just got away from him, ran inside.
Pulled toward the hole. Walker can't get there, and Syndergaard has his first big league hit. So another souvenir for Noah. DeGrom making sure that they don't dispose of that ball in an inappropriate way.
Low ball hitter. Ooh, that's nice on a bell-type fastball. Nicely done. He's got a clue, Mr. Syndergaard.
So he's at first with nobody out, carrying the tying run. Granderson takes the breaking ball outside. Curtis has been up twice, struck out both times against Cole, who has only 4 strikeouts in the first 5 innings. But he has victimized Granderson twice.
Only 4 and 5? I'll take that. That's pretty good.
Well, coming into the night, he had 53 in 48 innings. People's United Bank starters, 2 hard throwers. Cole's gotten it up to 99 miles an hour, Syndergaard to 98, and you see the results. No walks on either side. That's impressive. Granderson breaks his bat, but hits it right to Walker. Gong with the turn, another double play. Second straight inning, the Pirates have turned a 4-6-3 double play. So 2 out and nobody out. Let's head to the studio. Janae Coakley has a game break brought to you by Honda. Bryce Harper.
Oh, he's having an MVP start, isn't he not?
He sure is.
He's picked up this club, that Washington club that was struggling, and put it on his back, basically.
There's Eric Campbell taking outside ball 1. Campbell's been hit by a pitch and fly to right 0 for 1.
Cole pitching inside. Both pitchers, and jams Curtis. You see the bat kind of shatter a little bit. Got in there on him. 48th double play of the year for the Pirates. That ties in for first with Colorado in the National League.
Well, the Mets have lost 4 base runners tonight, 2 caught stealings, 2 double plays, and so find themselves still down a run. 1-2, and Stewart has to lunge for that one. 2-2.
Garrett Cole's got good stuff, Gary, tonight. It's the first time. It's the 3rd start against the Mets, so we haven't seen much of him, but to see why he's been a 10 and 11 game winner.
Well, his first 2 starts against the Mets, he struggled in both. Last year, he kind of had an excuse. He was just coming off the DL after some shoulder issues. Had 2 stints on the DL last year, so he only made 22 starts and won 11 games. It's pretty impressive. 3-2 to Campbell, and he got him with a breaking ball. So Garrett Cole picks up his 5th strikeout, and the Mets are done in the top of the 6th. Point State Park, right at the confluence of the 3 rivers. 2-1 Pirates in the 6th. Against Noah Syndergaard with the Pirates up 2-1, and he hits it in the air to deep right. Granderson back to the warning track right near the Clemente wall, and he'll play it off the wall, bouncing away. McCutchen goes to second and stops there. I had a notion about 3 with that ball bouncing loose. That's a tough wall. It's 21 feet high. It's got a lot of different contours on the wall, and Granderson got a little bit too close to it.
I thought he had a shot. You know, leading off the inning here, he could have had 3. I think if he'd have been busting out of the box all the way, it would have been 3.
I think maybe he thought it was gone.
I think he still had a shot for 3. Yeah, he did.
Now McCutchen the other day hit his 61st PNC Park home run, which ties him for the all-time lead with Jason Bay. So he almost had number 62. He's at second with nobody out. Starling Marte fouls off the curveball.
Straight take back. Just got a little bit under it. Shows you how strong he is to the opposite field.
7th double of the year for McCutchen. First time all night the Pirates have had the leadoff man on against Syndergaard. About to throw his 85th pitch of the night. Marte has struck out and hit a comebacker 0 for 2. And Syndergaard busts him inside, and it's 1-1. Jung-Ho Kang waiting on deck. Syndergaard has not walked a batter, struck out 5. Given up 2 runs and 6 hits. This is with a changeup, and it's 2-1. I saw a fascinating piece of research that Elias did today. You know, Syndergaard is from Mansfield, Texas, and Texas is famous for its hard-throwing pitchers. The first pitcher from Texas the Mets ever had was the quintessential Texas hard thrower, Nolan Ryan, who came up with the Mets for the first time, I think, in '66. But I was shocked to read that the second Mets pitcher from Texas didn't come up till almost 20 years later. Calvin Schiraldi.
You think it's a red state, blue state?
I'm just saying, how could they not have had another pitcher from Texas for almost 20 years?
I agree. You pointed it out to me before the game. Nice.
Slowly hit. It'll advance the runner. Murphy throws out Marte, and McCutchen goes to third.
That is a pretty fine at bat right there for Marte. 2-1 ball game here in the 6th inning. Leadoff double. Got 2 strikes. Look at that inside out. Just trying to focused on getting the runner over. You want to drive him in, but that's getting the job done. That's middle of the game right now, towards the second half of the game. That's when you got to start advancing runners. Mets infield in.
Jung-Ho Kang has grounded out twice. Syndergaard needing a strikeout or a pop-up. Starts him off with a curveball for a strike.
And a pretty doggone good one. Oh, my word.
McCutchen, a fast man at third. Doesn't take much of a fly ball to get him home. One and one to Kang with Pedro Alvarez on deck. Another curveball. That one was up, and he fouls it off. 1-2. And McCutchen stumbled as he took his lead. Now remember, he's playing on a balky knee. I'm not sure if it gave way here. This was him going to third on the ground ball.
Yeah, you can tell he kind of wincing. Yes.
And then fell down just now, taking his lead off third. Kang just got a piece of that running fastball, and it stays 1-2.
Well, Kang's got that leg kick, and it looks like you can. There's Clint Hurdle right there, manager of the Pirates. Kang has a leg kick, and looks like you can get him with some off-speed breaking stuff away. Haven't seen enough of him yet.
Syndergaard could use a strikeout. Gets the bouncing ball. It goes into center field, and McCutchen comes home. Jung-Ho Kang with an RBI single. His 11th run batted in. It's 3-1 Pittsburgh.
Well, kind of textbook baseball right there. Leadoff double, advance the runner, get him in.
Dan Worthen will have for a conversation. Clint Hurdle checking on Andrew McCutchen as he comes into the dugout. They have given McCutchen some time off from time to time. He's tried to play through it. He's not tried to use the knee as an excuse, but it's clear that he's ailing.
Well, he's quite a hitter, even banged up. Got a very fast bat.
Let's get the bullpen cranking. A pair of tori throwing in the bullpen. Carlos. Oh, actually, it's Eric Goodell. Out of 52, a 62.
There'll be other opportunities.
Yeah, well. So Goodell and Alex Torres are up. Here's Pedro Alvarez, doubled and scored back in the second. 1 for 2, and that gets by Duda. Gong trying for second, and Duda didn't throw. Why not? Looked like he had plenty of time to get a throw down there.
I think the runner was in his. You got to be able to throw around the runner. We'll take another look. I agree. He had a shot to get him because Gong hesitated. And that's got to be an E1 on the throw. He doesn't know where the ball is. Now he's off.
I mean, look how much time he has.
He had him. There's no doubt.
Ooh. Could prove very costly. Now Alvarez at the plate takes outside, ball 1.
Watch Flores if he stays in the shot. Flores has got to be on the outfield side of the grass of the baseline. He's got to give Lucas the target away out toward on the right field side of second base. Can't make him throw across the runner.
Now Gong takes off from third, and Syndergaard didn't notice and didn't step off. Gong left very early, and he steals third.
Boy,
standing up.
Well, rookies will learn the hard way, and he will remember that, Syndergaard.
So now the Mets have to bring their infield in again. 1-1 to Alvarez. This game's starting to get away from Syndergaard and the Mets. Popped up. Shallow left. Tagging is Gong. Kadire catches it on his heels, and Gong comes to the plate and scores easily. Sacrifice fly for Alvarez. And the Pirates have scratched out 2 runs here in the 6th to lead 4-1.
Well, Kadire just did not get himself in a position to make a strong throw here. Look, he had to backpedal. Had plenty of time to get under that ball, and now he's got like a locomotive starting from scratch, from a dead stop.
Can you analyze the slide by Gong?
We'll do it right now. Oh, he almost got killed. Almost broke his ankle.
That was terrible. But he does score, and it's 4-1 Pittsburgh. Now Polanco, who singled, drove in a run, and scored a run in the second.
The spike gets, well, it's not as bad as it looked, but it wasn't textbook. Let's just say that.
Polanco fouls off the curveball.
Watch Alvarez's reaction here. He thought he popped it up.
That ball did carry better than it looked like it would coming off the bat. No question. That may be why Kadire wound up catching that on his heels. Alvarez picks up his 18th run batted in. Murphy to his right on the backhand. Gets Polanco by half a stride for the 3rd out. But Mets a little loose in the field and give up 2. 4-1 Bucks after 6. And Worthen coming over and giving him the handshake, so it appears he's done after 6 innings. Lucas Duda leads off in the 7th against Garrett Cole and takes a strike.
Well, this is so typical of the Pirates. They are one of the top teams that use, not the top teams, one of the teams in baseball that use the shift most frequently.
Not quite on the order of the Astros, who lead the world in shifts, but in the National League, I don't think anybody shifts more than the Pirates do.
And there's a big article in the paper in the was it the Pittsburgh Press? Is that what it's called? Or Gazette?
Post-Gazette.
Post-Gazette. It used to be a Pittsburgh Press. It was a big front page story in the sport page.
It used to be a New York Herald Tribune.
There used to be a San Francisco Examiner too.
Here's the 0-2. And it's up and away to Duda, who struck out twice today. And the article said?
Oh, it just was talking about how the Pirates, and Clint Hurdle in particular, got sold on the extreme shifts and using them so frequently. And I think the article came up because strike 3 on the outside corner right there.
Third time Duda's been struck out tonight. 6 for Cole.
They got beat by Joe Mauer. They had a big shift on Mauer. And Mauer hit the ball the other way. It was kind of a bleeder, unintentional.
Turned into a 3-run single.
Right. And Clint Hurdle said that, you know, everybody notices when it blows up in our face, but no one pays attention when we are successful the last 4 or 5 times.
Dyer's been up twice, grounded out to third base both times. Nationals has gone in front of the Phillies 2-1 in the 6th. Taking that ball away from Kadire, and it's 0-2.
Boy, what a nice pitcher Cole is. He throws hard. He's basically a fastball slider guy, one speed, but he's got a very good slider and command of both pitches. Impressive. Pretty straight up. I bet you he's not a drop and drive. He is not. Oh, almost. Stiff-legged on that stride.
Well, they don't spend the first overall pick in the draft on just anybody. That was Garrett Cole in 2011 coming out of UCLA. On the outside corner, Kadire caught looking. 3 consecutive strikeouts for Cole, 7 for the night.
Paint. Knee high outside corner. Borderline knees. Oh boy, he might, you know, they wouldn't have given that to Ted Williams.
Ted's not playing tonight.
Right, it's true.
2 out of nobody on Daniel Murphy. When the Pirates took Cole with the #1 overall pick in 2011, it was not the first time he'd been drafted in the first round. He was drafted in the first round in 2008 out of high school by the Yankees. And Cole, despite growing up in California, grew up a huge Yankee fan. But he refused to negotiate with the Yankees. Said he wanted to go to college and he was not going to be deterred. The Yankees knew that he had grown up a Yankee fan, so figured they'd take a shot. But he and his family decided they were not even going to talk about it.
Well, there's a big long stride, which is not going to enable him to get the head in front of that front foot. Look how stiff-legged he is. So whatever works, right? He's also very sneaky too. He's got a sneaky fastball upstairs. He's a pretty polished pitcher.
Came up in June of 2013. Helped the Pirates get to the postseason for the first time in 21 years. And Murphy goes down on strikes. Cole strikes out the side in the top of the 7th. Impressive performance by Cole as he has outdueled Syndergaard tonight. Seventh inning stretch time at the start of the Memorial Day weekend. It's 4-1 Pittsburgh.
It's the last of the ninth. Yes, it's Ralph Kiner, and he can win the game for the Pirates if he can connect. Wait it out, boy. Here's the pitch. It's a hit. Going, it's gone. It's into the stands for a home run. That's what I mean, the spark of a champion. Wheaties man Ralph Kiner in action. He powers up with Wheaties, and what sparks a champion sparks you.
That is just classic.
Oh, boy.
Ralph Kiner, Wheaties commercial. Sometime in the 50s.
Oh, that is classical.
Eric Goodell in to pitch for the Mets in the bottom of the 7th. Into center field. On comes Lagares, and he picks it off. And Chris Stewart retired for the first time tonight.
Makes you want to go out and get some Wheaties.
Breakfast of Champions. Well, they have lots of players immortalized in statuary here in Pittsburgh.
I never quite got that. Did you?
This is the Ralph Kiner statue, and it's kind of odd in that they just display his hands on a bat.
And I think Ralph should be. All the retired players of the Pirates here, they're all like gigantic, full-bodied shots of their players, and I certainly think that Ralph would have been better served with that kind of statue.
Well, 10 years in the big leagues, 369 home runs, 7-time National League batting home run champion, and almost all of that accomplished as a Pirate, you would think.
And Ralph, it took the Veterans Committee to get Ralph in the Hall of Fame.
Cole grounds one down to third. Long throw for Campbell to make, and he gets him by just a shade for the second out. Well, each team now has a pitcher from UCLA on the mound. Goodell just retired his former college teammate, getting Cole on the ground ball. Fans here in Pittsburgh appreciating the hustle of Cole, beating it down the line.
Well, busting on a routine ground ball.
Well, you know he wanted to get the advantage against Goodell. They were a year apart with the Bruins.
That's right.
Goodell drafted in 2010 and Cole in 2011. So it probably meant more to him to get that infield hit than it would have against somebody else. 2 out and nobody on. Josh Harrison takes the curveball for a strike. So Noah Syndergaard, 99 pitches in 6 innings, 4 runs, 3 earned, 7 hits, no walks, 5 strikeouts. This was Cole coming to the plate earlier, and the wry smile about to face his buddy.
Long way from the Pacific Coast.
The feeling we're not in Westwood anymore. Goodell trying to finish off this bottom of the 7th. Ahead on Harrison 0-2. Harrison 1 for 3 on the night. Well, Goodell had been impeccable until Tuesday night, when for the first time this season he gave up a run. Well,
2.
Actually gave up 2. That was in John Neese's start. He came in and was unable to get the Mets cleanly through the inning.
Everybody got kind of roughed up in that game. That was the 10-2 ball game. Check that. It was 10-2.
Goodell strikes out Harrison. 1-2-3 inning for Eric. Garrett Cole will go back to the mound for the 8th. There's Willie Stargell just outside the gates. He's calling up a local restaurant to be featured at Citi Field this season. Vote for a favorite now at Mets.com/Citi Callups. Wilmer Flores leads off the 8th inning. Takes a strike from Garrett Cole. New first baseman for the Pirates, Sean Rodriguez, has come in for defense, as he's done frequently this year for Pedro Alvarez. Rodriguez, the former Ray. That's golfed the other way by Flores. Fair ball. Overcomes Polanco to get it, and he'll hold Flores to a leadoff single. So the Mets have their 5th hit of the night against Garrett Cole.
Ball down in the strike zone. That's where Wilmer likes it.
I remember Gil Flores.
It's like former Oriole. Yep. I just always want to say Gil Flores.
Played for the Mets too.
Yes, he did.
Here's Lagares, 1 for 2. Reached on an error in the 3rd and scored the only Met run on a wild pitch. That's the only run Cole's given up. It was unearned. Flores at first, Lagares at the plate, Plawecki on deck. And Lagares takes just out of the strike zone somewhere. Ball 1.
Just noticed Marty Foster, the home plate umpire, sleeveless.
57 degrees right now. It was 65 when the game started. It's supposed to get down to the 30s tonight here in Pittsburgh.
It's supposed to be gorgeous on Sunday, though, right?
Should be nice tomorrow as well. Late afternoon game tomorrow. 4 o'clock start. 1:30 start on Sunday. Matt Harvey pitches tomorrow. Hit toward the middle of the diamond. Gong gets over. And the turn by Walker. And again, the Mets get a base runner only to see him disappear. Third double play of the night for the Pirates.
Nice play by Gong. Struck well by Lagares. Nice feed, shovel pass. Nice turn by Walker. Once you make the play on a ball hit this hard, you should turn it. Very nice play by Gong.
Gong was a Gold Glover in Korea. And he made a terrific play there.
Nice turn by Walker. Very nice play.
So 2 out and nobody on now. Plawecki. So that's 5 base runners the Mets have lost tonight. They've only had 6.
Only left 1 man on base the whole night.
Exactly. Three double plays, 2 men caught stealing. And so the Mets have not been able to build on any offensive momentum that they might have generated. And that dents the outside corner at 98. 98 miles an hour in the 8th inning for Garrett Cole. Daryl Siciliani on deck. He'll pinch hit if Plawecki keeps the inning going. Struck him out with a high fastball. 9 strikeouts for Garrett Cole. What a game he's pitched tonight. 8 innings, no earned runs. 4-1 Pirates go to the bottom of the 8th. Just go to SNY.TV/Kidcaster, submit an essay on the topic provided, and you'll be entered in the SNY Kidcaster contest presented by New York's 529 College Savings Program. The music was so catchy that Keith was doing a jig. Nice move.
He's doing a swim.
Eric Goodell pitched a 1-2-3 7th, stays on for the 8th to face Neil Walker, who's 0 for 3 tonight. Walker, McCutchen, and Marte. And the Pirate bullpen is quiet. Garrett Cole's thrown 95 pitches, and it certainly appears as though he's going to get a chance to go the distance tonight. He has been splendid, and his defense has been awfully good too. 1-1 to Walker. Cole came into the night with the 9th best earned run average in the league, and has a chance to better that tonight, having not given up an earned run. Cole does not have a complete game in his career. This is his 50th career start. Walker gets one in the air to deep right center. Granderson back and has the play on the warning track for the first out. Let's check in with the studio. Janae Coakley has another game break brought to you by Ford.
Center fielder, Andrew McCutcheon.
Well, Braun sure has caught fire, hasn't he?
Braves had been playing well, winning 5 of their last 6, but getting blown out tonight. Here's McCutcheon, who doubled off the wall and right in the 6th. Led to a 2-run inning. It was kind of an ugly inning for the Mets. An errant pickoff throw, and then a throw not made by Duda, and then Syndergaard fell asleep, and Gong stole third, and that led to another run. 2-0 to McCutcheon. McCutcheon now in his 7th big league season, and it probably wouldn't be a stretch to say he is as respected a player as there is in the National League.
It's amazing how the years fly by.
First round pick out of high school by the Pirates back in 05. Still only 28 years old, so he's just entering the prime of his career.
Yes, just entering his prime. Absolutely.
Two-1 from Goodell, and the curveball in for a strike, and it's 2-2.
Yes,
McCutcheon telling the whole plate umpire Marty Foster was a little high.
It was up.
First Pirates since Bobby Bonilla to make 4 straight All-Star teams. Bobby ever make an All-Star team as a Met?
That is a good question.
Or is it only since his career ended that he's been an All-Star?
Have you participated or taped the game show you're going to do?
No, they haven't picked the contestants yet.
Well, you better bone up. You're supposed to know that stuff. Don't want to embarrass yourself.
There's every chance that's going to happen anyway. Oh, McCutcheon gets hit. It looked like a splitter that went awry from Goodell. He was in pain earlier, and now he's got some more pain.
Fastball, Gary.
Ooh, off his elbow.
Off the tricep, above the elbow.
Was it that high?
I think it was just above the elbow, tricep. That was a fastball, too. Another look.
Whatever it was, it didn't feel so good.
No, on a cold night like this, too, it doesn't help.
So McCutcheon goes to first base.
He's a gamer.
Just so I won't be embarrassed, I found out the answer to the question. Bonilla made the All-Star game twice as a Met. In his first year with the Mets. Second year with the Mets in '93 and again in '95. So there you go. So McCutcheon aboard. Now Starling Marte, who has struck out and grounded out twice, 0 for 3. Here's the splitter from Goodell, and it's 0-1.
The splitter gives Goodell a third pitch, and he's got command of it. Otherwise, he'd be a fastball, overhand curveball. He's not horribly overpowering. It's the equalizer, that pitch. It's a wicked pitch. They discourage pitchers throwing that today.
Could be 2 if they hurry. Flores gets the out at second, but that's all. Just not hit hard enough. So 2 out. Marte now at first. Well, we've left you hanging on this for a while. The Verizon trivia question: who was 3rd in the MVP voting behind Keith and Willie Stargell in '79?
Terrific player. Hall of Famer. What an athlete. He was a 5-tool player. Had a great arm, could run, hit for average, hit with power, steal a base, accurate arm. The 5-tool player. One of the best players I've played against in my generation.
And a good enough athlete that he was drafted by the NFL and by the NBA and by the ABA.
Out of the University of Minnesota.
Yes. All he was missing was the NHL. Put him on skates, he probably would have been good at that too.
Very intimidating at the plate.
There goes Marte. The throw by Plawecki, not in time. And the Pirates have their 3rd stolen base of the night. Marte's 7th of the year.
Well, the Pirates are displaying their speed today. As Gary said, their 3rd stolen base.
Well, it was the Mets who tried to run early in this game unsuccessfully. Pirates now 3 for 3. First 2 stolen bases resulted in runs. There's a good curveball by Goodell, and it's 2-1 to Gong. Well, those are your co-MVPs.
That'll never happen.
With the power, Hernandez with the batting average and the RBIs.
That'll never happen again.
Well, it's a quirk.
You know, it was amazing that Willie, the 32 home runs that year he hit. Willie only had around 370 at bats that season.
Is that right?
And he hit
that 3rd.
He didn't play all that much, and he had 32 home runs. I'm positive of that. And of course, he was the leader of that We Are a Family Pittsburgh Pirate World Championship team.
Sister Sledge.
Yep.
424 at bats. That's still
how many walks?
47.
So he didn't.
Struck out 105 times, but 32 home runs and 424 at bats. That's
pretty awesome.
That's a lot.
How many games did he play?
126.
Yes.
I mean, he was an older player then.
Yep.
Gong bounces one foul.
And a big controversial year for him. The year he had 48 home runs, he finished 2nd to Pete Rose in the MVP balloting.
That was 71.
Yes, and then everybody, a lot of people felt he should have been the MVP that year.
Well, that 71 team won the World Series, and so did the 79 team.
Lifetime BA, Gary. What's his lifetime BA quickly?
282.
He was a heck of a hitter. Hit 300 too with power.
475 home runs. Strike 3 called. Gong is caught looking. 2nd strikeout for Goodell, and that sends us off to the 9th. Garrett Cole going for his first career complete game. Traffic moving awfully fast for a weekend eve. Well, Garrett Cole trying for the rare feat, going for the complete game tonight. Daryl Siciliani, the pinch hitter, leading off against him. Siciliani, 4th career plate appearance. Had a base hit in his first big league at bat. He's also drawn a walk. And for a kid who's just up from the minor leagues, the Pirates have a pretty drastic shift on against him.
They've been scouting in the minor leagues, have they not?
Well, the complete game has become a dinosaur. This decade, every 100 games, there have been 5.7 complete games, and frankly, I'm surprised it's that many. Last year, only 2.4% of games were completed.
In that decade, in the 80s, went down to about 31%. They were still only using 10-man pitching staffs.
Right. Well, Cole has not walked a batter all night. Behind 3-1, and Siciliani gets a fastball and fouls it back. Curtis Granderson on deck, then Eric Campbell. Cole at 100 pitches. He threw 107 in 6 innings in his last start in Chicago. This is his 50th career start. He's never had a complete game. Pirates get the bullpen cranking behind him just in case. 3-2. And Siciliani takes strike 3 call. 99 from Cole in the 9th inning. That's his 10th strikeout.
Borderline knees. He's got a bit of a gripe. The rookie, you got to just keep your yap shut like he did and swallow it.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Granderson, who's had a rough day, 2 strikeouts and a double play ball, 0 for 3.
Oh.
They're at the post.
Is that the charge for a Met rally, or
I don't know. It's what they played before the race, and we're playing it almost at the end of the game. 1-2 now to Granderson, and Cole is really dealing here in the 9th.
He smells it. This is why I miss this in the game. I understand, but I miss it.
One-two. Line into right field, and Granderson's got a base hit. So now Clint Hurdle has some thinking to do. Mark Melancon, his closer, is up in the bullpen. It would be a save situation if he brought him in now.
Slider right down the pipe, hung it.
Cole's going to get at least one more batter. Eric Campbell coming up. Lucas Duda behind him. Campbell 0 for 2, was hit by a pitch back in the first inning. 0 for his last 15. That's need one more base runner to get Duda to the plate as the tying run. Campbell overmatched, 0-1. Mark Melancon, the Pirate closer, getting ready in case Cole needs help. Cole now at 106 pitches. 1 out in the 9th. And he bounces that one, and Stewart equal to it. Stewart's had a terrific game behind the plate tonight.
Thrown well. Thrown out 2 Met runners.
He's also had a good day at the plate with a couple of hits. Well, Duda's on deck. This is an essential batter for Cole, and a huge turn at bat for Campbell. 2-1.
So this just seems like a lot of pitchers today. They're just not used to closing a game out, finishing it off, and they kind of do a little Archie Bell. They get out of their game.
That's on the corner. 2-2. Granderson at first and 1 out. Pirates have already turned 3 double plays tonight behind Cole. And Campbell leans back, 3-2. So for Cole, who has been impeccable with his control all night, he's run 2 3-2 counts in this inning. There's not been a single walk in this game on either side.
It's going to go away.
3-2 coming. And he walked him. And now the Mets will get Duda to the plate as the tying run. So Cole's first walk of the night will signal his exit from the game. Clint Hurdle on his way to bring in his closer. So Cole, looking for his first career complete game, comes up 2 outs shot. But a tremendous performance tonight by the Pirates' young ace. Call to the bullpen, brought to you by Verizon.
He's 9 of 10, as you see. But most of the time, these closers, they don't come in with men on base. He's coming in with a little fire raging.
Due to 1 for 3 with a home run against Melanson. A home run would tie the game. Lucas 0 for 3, 3 strikeouts tonight against Garrett Cole. He's happy to see him leave. And Melanson comes up and in with a cutter. He'll throw that pitch about 70% of the time. Melanson started out with the Yankees, Houston, Boston, where he couldn't get anybody out, and then came to Pittsburgh, became an all-star.
33 saves last year.
In the air, not very deep. In comes Marte, and that's the second out of the inning.
Got inside on Lucas with that cutter.
So the Mets are down to their final outs with Michael Cuddyer coming to the plate.
Tied him up.
Cuddyer, after his 3 for 3 day yesterday, 0 for 3 tonight. Garrett Cole won a career high 8 in the third innings tonight, struck out 10, gave up just an unearned run, and Melanson trying to finish it off for him. And Cuddyer hits one to shortstop. Gong just in time for the fourth, so the ball game is over. So Melanson comes in to get the final 2 outs. Garrett Cole picks up his 6th win with a dominating performance as the Pirates take the opening game of the series from the Mets 4-1.
Well, too much of that man right there. Garrett Cole gets his 6th win of the season, goes 6-2, 6 hits, 1 walk, kind of tired in the 9th, 10 strikeouts. Melanson cleans it up for his 10th save. Mets really couldn't get anything going, hit into 2 double plays. They got thrown out twice early in the game trying to steal bases, but really didn't get much going offensively. Syndergaard, I thought, threw well. Just a couple wild pitches, stolen bases kind of hurt him, but I thought he pitched well, Gary.
Cole lowers his ERA to 2.05 with a terrific performance tonight, striking out 10, walking only 1. There's your Jeep game summary. Cole outpitches Syndergaard tonight. Melanson gets the final 2 outs, and the Pirates beat the Mets 4-1. Coming up tonight after the postgame show, it's Geico Sports Night, and plenty to talk about, including Rangers Lightning tonight, Cavaliers and Hawks playing game 2, and more, of course, on the Mets and Pirates as well. Mets fall in Pittsburgh. 3 amigos. Very nice. 4-1 the final score. We'll come back with more in just a moment.